Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancavano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And again, you know how excited I feel with this first segment because the gentleman to my right needs absolutely no introduction. When I messaged him earlier this week, I was basically like, Bobby, you want to do this? And he's like, heck yeah, I want to do this.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, there you go. That's, of course, Bobby Fraz from @BobbyFraz. And I finally got the name correct, and he's representing it on a sweater. How are you today, my man?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I really, really am. Bobby, since the last time you've been on, it was the Pizza Fest,
Pizza Fest, yeah.
We had a lot of fun. It was a lot warmer outside.
Yes, it was.
Lots been going on. We're in a new year, 2022. Happy
absolutely.
New Year to you.
Happy New Year, too.
Let's talk about some of the new pizzerias opening up this year.
Right.
One of them we covered in Pizza Fest. Go ahead.
We did. So Madison Pizza Lab, which is taking over for the old Variza. And we got a taste of Dave Carney's pizza. Mm-hmm. And it was delicious. I loved it. I think we tried the Gabagool, which was one of his meatier pizzas. But we got a small taste, small square. That's all we got. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table. I'm really looking forward to seeing their full pizza menu and all their ideas and all their things that they're talking about coming to fruition. And it looks beautiful inside. So I know they decked it out to really be a dine-in type of place. So I'm really excited to check that out. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And, you know, if you know Dave, which a lot of people in town do, you know it's going to be done just right.
So many people know him that there's shirts at his restaurant, the Madison Bar and Grill, that says, I know Dave on them, correct?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Anybody else opening up here in this?
Yes, absolutely. So for those of you who are fans of Tony Baloney's, they're doing a new concept called Pie Hole Calzone. And if you know Tony Baloney's, they're known for their wild toppings and pretty incredible
wild pizzas,
and subs, wings, fries.
I mean, anything you ask for.
He's adding calzones that are going to be filled with oozing homemade burrata in each and every calzone. That's their tagline. And if you know their toppings, then you know that that's going to be in there. And they're meant to be gigantic, shareable calzones with different types of dipping sauces. So, again, it's going to be coming to wherever a Tony Baloney's location is. So I'm very excited to see that and try that and share that with friends.
And we know Mike Hauk, the owner of Tony Baloney's, does a phenomenal job. 4 locations, as we always talk about. Yep. And I tell you, he really, really is putting his pizzerias on the map with all these creations.
Absolutely. And he's been on a ton of different types of food shows and Food Network. And he does the pizza classes online. He did one from Sicily, which was pretty outstanding. So really amazing work there. And I'm really excited to see what the calzones are going to bring to the table. So that's going to be fun. And then the last one opened last year. Now that's a French Riviera right here on Clinton.
I got to interrupt you. French, they don't know how to make pizza. Come on,
I know.
You and I are Italian.
I know. That's why I haven't been, but all my friends and all the people in town are telling me that they do brick oven pizzas. So I have to check it out. And when I look at the menu, I'll give them a shot. I got to review it, right? And I heard they got some fancy flavors. They got a lobster pizza, and I did one down in the Keys. So I'm excited to try this one out. So coming soon.
Lobster and pizza. That's like heaven on earth. Right
exactly.
There. Oh, my God. Since the last time you've been on, like I said, when it was Pizza Fest, you've reviewed several different pizzerias.
Correct, I have.
And, we'll put some slideshows up of you doing your reviews at your Instagram handle.
Thank you.
Talk to me at Bobby Fraz. And folks, as you can see, I'm finally starting to get the name right. I used to say Fraz. Now it's Fraz, correct?
It's coming out perfect.
Exactly. Talk to me about some of the pizzerias you reviewed and maybe some of the scores you gave and so on and so forth.
So one of the most recent ones I did is Johnny Pepperoni's. He's kind of become a staple, and the reason because he's got a rotating pizza menu. So not only do they have the house specialty pies, which all are great from the ones I've tried, he's got a weekly rotating pizza, and sometimes they're different. Sometimes he might bring some fan favorites back. And also the place is remodeled last year, and I always try to do the pizza review under that wonderful, beautiful sign that you want a pizza me, which is just perfect for a picture and eating pizza underneath.
Well, that's what Bobby dreams about.
Exactly. It makes it for a good Instagram. So, but I've done a couple of his pizzas, and then he did a contest recently, and we won the drunken pizza, which
you did?
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
Yeah, we did. Thank you so much, Johnny Pepperoni. So we had the pleasure in reviewing his pizza, and it was great. I gave it a great score. And I think so far he's done great on every single one of his pizzas. So keep up the great work there. Another one that I've done was in Jersey City, Low Fidelity, which is really a craft cocktail and craft beer bar. Really cool retro style inside.
Palisade Avenue, I believe. Up
there.
Yes,
absolutely.
Not far from Hoboken. Right.
No, not far at all. And they're known for Detroit style pizzas. And these things come out with that charred, crisp, perfect edge. And the flavor was outstanding. I actually shocked myself when I had the pizza. and I gave it an excellent. I did the pepperoni and I did the cosmonaut, which had some vodka sauce in there. You know I'm a sucker for that if you watch the show. So both pizzas I gave an absolute excellent score.
And I'm going to interrupt you 1 second because my mom and dad are watching this and they're going to be like, Mom, what is this Detroit style pizza? It is a Sicilian, basically.
Correct.
Just a little thinner, I would say, and more cooked, correct?
Right. And the reason why it's ever called a Detroit style pizza is because the trend started when they made it out of motor oil pans in the car factory.
There you go.
That's literally where it came from.
There's your lesson.
Exactly.
This guy's better than Dave Portnoy right here, right?
Hey, well, Dave did Low Fidelity this week.
He follows you,
A lot of people said it's a coincidence. I think not.
I think not. He knows who the Hoboken Pizza Man is.
Exactly.
Now going up to Jersey City as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. I didn't mean
the
to
final one
interrupt
that
you.
I've done recently, I actually did IMPOSTO'S, which is another fan
we
favorite.
Love the owners of IMPOSTO'S.
We
Great
love
guys.
IMPOSTO'S. Awesome guys. And I never tried a Sicilian. So he's got
the vodka one, correct?
The vodka one. So I did the Hoboken No Jokin regular pie, which is similar, but I did the Sicilian, which is the chicken No Jokin. So it had the breaded chicken strips on there, the vodka sauce, Sicilian, but he did it almost like a Detroit style. It was nice, thinner. It wasn't that thick, huge crust. It was nice and perfect, charred edge. I gave it a great. It was a great pizza. It was tasted excellent, and I think he does a great job with everything he does. And I'm telling you, you got to check out the cannolis.
Oh yeah, we actually covered it on the show. We had the Oreo and the Fruity Pebble cannoli, and then we actually had the pizza when we were on the pier, and we had it as well, and it was no joking good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Exactly.
Hoboken No Jokin.
Yeah. So, all right. People love you, Bobby. I get emails about it. I get Instagram messages. They say, we want more Bobby. Even Holly, our new wonderful videographer, editor, and director of the show was like, let's get Bobby on,
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you.
Exactly. All right. I know. You didn't expect that.
I'm flattered.
Talk to me about maybe some possibilities of when we're going to see you in the future on the show and what you're thinking.
So we have some fun things coming.
There you go.
So a friend of the show and a good friend of ours, Joe from San Giuseppe. We love his food. Great pizza, great guy, great family restaurant. We have some big plans coming. He brought the noise for the holiday season. He did a giveaway with me recently, so I was really happy to do that for him and get the word out about his restaurant. And that was a lot of fun to do. He also catered my very small New Year's Eve party this year and had some amazing food. So I pictured some of that on my Instagram.
I saw those mozzarella sticks. Don't worry.
The best mozzarella sticks in Hoboken, I'm telling you.
There you go.
I hashtag it all the time because it's true. But we have some exciting stuff coming, and I'm either going to make a fool of myself or I'm going to make the best pizza ever because he's actually going to bring me into the restaurant and we're going to film ourselves making a pizza together. Maybe you too?
Maybe. We'll see what happens. I don't like to get my hands dirty. The audience knows that. So, at Bobby Fraz, of course, Fraz. I got it wrong again. At Bobby Fraz.
It's okay.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing
you
you make a fool out of yourself. I'm just kidding around.
Dude, thanks. The confidence over
Exactly.
here.
Actually, you're going to kill it, Bobby. I know you are. Thank you again, my man. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Folks, we will be right back.
Today's Pulse with Peter B. show is sponsored by Please Vote No, January 25th, on the $241 million new Hoboken High School referendum. Stand up for our students.
Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. And folks, a topic that our political analyst, Josh Sotomayor Einstein, wouldn't stop talking about for about a month and a half now is the new high school referendum that takes place on January 25th. And he was the first one to come out publicly against it by writing on it. But we have the honor and privilege today to be joined by Jerome Abernathy, who is the spokesperson for the Please Vote No on the $241 million bond referendum for the new high school. Jerome, how are you today, sir?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on, Peter.
Absolutely. So, Jerome, this really started with a handful of concerned citizens saying that, no, we're not going to pay this bond for what some might say is a sports complex more than a school. And now it boomed into several hundred members of the community who are forming a well-organized group. Why did you get involved?
Well, like the other people that are members of our group, I'm concerned about children in our community, about the quality of education. From a self-interested point of view, the two determinants of the value of our homes are first and foremost public safety. In Hoboken, thankfully, we have that. The other is the quality of our schools. And so it doesn't matter whether you have children in the schools, whether you are a senior empty nester, if you're a condo owner, you have a vested interest in the quality of education in our public schools. So that's why I'm involved. If you look at where this group came from, it was really self-organized on the web. I mean, we're social media. We sort of came together as a few of us, and then the next thing you know, other people started to join in, and we decided, hey, let's organize, let's do something.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of things that the yes side is saying out in the community.
Yes.
To put it mildly, I couldn't think of the word, so I used things. One of them is that the facilities haven't been updated in over 60 years. I think there was a mother who was a teacher in the public schools at the Board of Education meeting earlier this week, basically saying that in Brand School that both boys and girls are using the same bathrooms, and that a new high school would accommodate the space that is desperately needed because enrollment is booming at the elementary and now the middle school. What do you have to say to the people that are like, yeah, I don't want my son and daughter, or a person saying their son or their daughter not using the same bathroom?
I don't want my son and daughter using the same bathroom either. But let's unpack that a bit, because there are two separate issues here. One is that we acknowledge that there is a need for additional space at the elementary and middle school grades. And according to the Board of Ed's own demographic study, they're going to need 180 more seats in elementary school and middle school by the year 2032. We agree with that, and we think that that should be the focus of their efforts. We happen to think that a highly amenitized high school is not the solution for their shortage of space in the elementary and middle school grades.
Interesting. And another thing that they like to talk, I keep saying things, another issue that they're bringing up is regarding the actual tax impact. Of course, on the referendum, it looks like it's a $241 million bond. But as we all know, when you secure a bond, you have to pay interest. And that brings the total up to $330 million, correct?
Right, $331 million at, they say, 2.2% if they can get that. The tax impact depends on who you are. Mm-hmm. Now, if you look at some of the people that have joined our coalition, and we're talking about people from all walks of life, from all corners of our community. So, for example, you have seniors who have been living in their home for 50, 60 years, and now it's richly assessed. They're on a fixed income. Well, that boost in their school taxes, that 20% increase in their school taxes, it really hurts. It really stings.
So just to be clear, I'm going to interrupt you 1 second. When they say that it equates to $400 more a year, that is not factually correct. It depends how much you pay on taxes. Correct?
Well, precisely. I mean, so if you have, well, we're in Hoboken, so virtually all homes are fairly richly valued. Mm-hmm. But if you own, say, a row house that is highly assessed, it's going to be more. If you own say a one-bedroom condo, of course, it's going to be less. But it's really the impact on different cohorts of people. If you, like I said, if you're a senior and you're on that fixed income and you're in that home that, I don't know, that you grew up in, and it cost basically nothing back in the 1950s, and now it's worth a lot of money, but you're on Social Security. that tax increase, a 20% school tax increase, it hurts. It stings.
Yeah. And now another issue that they're bringing up is, and as you know, when I served on the school board, the biggest issue was was enrollment at the high school. How could we increase the enrollment at the high school? You don't think that a shiny new building with a hockey rink and a swimming pool and at the end of the day, modern classrooms, the classrooms look absolutely phenomenal in the renderings that we've seen. Obviously, we won't know. You don't think that that's going to possibly give the advantage to Hoboken over a high-tech high school, which is brand new in Secaucus, and hopefully increase our enrollments?
Well, and also, as you know, the county just announced a new STEM high school at Liberty Science Center, so that'll be new as well. Well, let me put it to you this way. Cambridge University, Oxford University, Harvard. The kids are in buildings from the 1600s. The fact of the matter is that there's very little relationship between the quality of the facilities or the newness of the facilities and the quality of the education. So, for example, if you take whether it's the charter schools in our town, if you look at OLA's space,
they're on top of the Boys and Girls Club.
Well, yeah, it's not that nice. Sorry, Ola. I appreciate you, but but the reason parents send their kids there is because they're getting a good education. The reason kids go to, say, independent schools in New York, whether it's a Dalton school or a Trinity or something like that, and spend tens of thousands of dollars a year, it's for the quality of education. It's not because of the facilities. And so, though I think nice and shiny and new is great, don't get me wrong, Hoboken High, the current facility, in the scheme of things, is fairly nice. There's a reason why 120 kids come from out of district to go to Hoboken High, because it's a nice school. The people are nice. The kids are nice. There's a reason for that. And I don't think, our group doesn't think, that we need to spend, get this, almost 5 times more per pupil than the most expensive high school that was built in the country prior to this.
And Jerome, we have a few seconds here left. And one of the things that Pavel Sokolov, who I know has been up, and he might be in studio as Jerome is waving here, who has done a yeoman's work in leading the charge against the no effort, told me when we had a conversation before filming today, and I believe he's mentioned it. Well, I know he's mentioned it publicly, is that this referendum is really pinning neighbor versus neighbor, where who you thought was a great guy or a great gal who was living next to you no longer is, in a way, because this issue is really going at the core of each other's values. Isn't that such an unfortunate circumstance?
Well, ironically, every year, I belong to another board, and every year we have a retreat where we think big thoughts, and we also bring in a speaker to talk about particular topics. And interestingly enough, this year's topic was referendums.
Oh, funny. It's like you predicted it.
It's strictly a coincidence. But the consultant that we brought in before the meeting, the thing he talked about was, with referendums, what we needed to do first was identify all the stakeholders in our community, identify all the centers of influence, and take a year and a half, 2 years, and go speak to all of them and bring them up to speed, get their feedback, get their input. So by the time you get to a referendum, you've developed consensus across your community. And so, and what the consultant said,
and that didn't happen here, you're saying?
Not at all. What happened here is that they kept their plans close to their vest and announced it. The first that anyone heard about this was December 10th, and they set a vote for January 25th, so a compressed time frame over the holidays. And so one of the cohorts in our movement are those people that are concerned about good government and transparency. Because the thing about these sort of special elections in New Jersey, that the turnout is usually sub 5%, sub 10%. It's 6%, 7%. And so if this is an issue, it's the largest tax increase in the history of Hoboken. Wow. It's the largest public works project in the history of Hoboken. On a per student basis, it's the most expensive high school in the history of the U.S., if you can believe that. NewJersey.com just wrote an interesting article about it, just published it today.
And we'll put the link on the bottom of your screen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, listen,
and
that's the least I can do, right?
And so had the Board of Ed developed consensus across our community, then they would have arrived at a plan that was broadly supported. But by doing it in this way, what it forces everyone to do is make a binary choice. Do you support it? Do you not? And so people that support it will say, do this for the children. Other people, the other people will say, we do care about the children. We're standing up for the kids, but this is not a good plan. So please, we say, please vote no on January 25th. And it's because we want to see a good plan that really serves our community and our students. And I'm sure that when the Board of Ed goes back and revises their plan after January 25th, that they will then work with our community and come back with a plan that makes sense for everyone.
Well, Jerome, thank you so much for coming in and giving your group stance. And again, folks, the election is Tuesday, January 25th. And answering my questions, because I'm on the fence here, and I'm reading both sides. And
I thought I convinced you.
Listen, we'll talk after the cameras are off. No, Jerome Abernathy, spokesperson for the Vote No, January 25th on the $241 million bond referendum for a new Hoboken high school.
Thank you, Peter.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure.
And hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yes, you will.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we will be right back. Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Fios Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. And as you can see, we have changed our clothing, Eric and I. We are out of studio because we are at the most happening new Greek spot in town. But we're not even going to talk about that because you're going to have to come back in 2 weeks' time when we talk about where we are. Eric might be here. He might not be here. You just got to find out in 2 weeks. But what we are going to talk about today, Eric, is, first of all, Eric Cruz is our sports insider every week. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, Pete. Thank you.
I always have to start out with the how you're doing because,
Yeah, well, I'm doing great.
All right,
really.
good.
I'm ready
All right.
for football.
I was going to say. Eric, at the end of the year, the holidays come and go. And I think that the NFL playoffs is the exact best gift after the holidays. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. It's like Christmas part 2. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? It's like
Exactly.
more games, more fun. That's
what I like
the best
to hear.
part of the year.
That's what I like to hear. All right, we're going to start with rapid fire. We're going to talk about the 4 wild card playoff games, 3 on Sunday, that is, and 1 on Monday. And we're going to start with the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting a visit from those Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you like in that game?
I like Tampa Bay, or like how you like to say Tampa Bay, because I just can't go against Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. It's his time of the year. This is where he plays his best football. But I do like Philly in this game, to keep it close. They're a tough team. I like what Jalen Hurts does on the field. He's a mobile quarterback, dual threat. But Tampa Bay's defense, top notch. Tom Brady on the other side is going to get the job done. I'm going to take Tampa Bay at home.
Taking Tampa Bay at home. All right, moving on to the 4:30 matchup on Sunday, and that is, of course, America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. And, of course, you know, Eric, they're making me lose my hair all season and for all these years and things like that. Facing the San Francisco 49er team that I spoke about last week, that I said I do not want to play them in the playoffs. Unfortunately, they are going to play them in the playoffs. Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, well, this is a tough matchup. I mean, for any team going into the playoffs, that's one of the teams that you don't want to play. San Fran, you know, they got a good running game. Jimmy Garoppolo's playing real good football. He's playing tough football, I should say. But I'm going to take Dallas. I think for the whole season, they've been the more consistent team. And it's time for Dak Prescott to step up. You know, it's been a long time since those Cowboys have been in the Super Bowl. And, you know, everybody's trying to figure out, hey, can Dak be that guy? And I think he can. I think he'll get him past the first round. I think they'll rely heavy on Zeke. Yeah, I think Dallas at home, that's a big notch for them. It's a big advantage for them. So I'm going to take Dallas in this game. But it's a tough San Francisco team. It could go either way, but I'll take Dallas.
So tough. So tough. And, you know, you broke my heart when you're like, it's been a really long time since the Cowboys have been to the Super Bowl. It was so long ago that, you know, I had a lot more hair, let's just say. So one matchup that I want to look out for in that game, though, is, of course, the matchup between Trayvon Diggs, which is high risk, high reward. He led the league in interceptions this year with 11 interceptions, but he also lets up huge plays, and he's going against Deebo Samuel. What do you think of the matchup?
Well, I think it's not going to be necessarily Trey Diggs versus Deebo. You know, just with San Francisco and what they do with Deebo, you know, they'll have him as a receiver, they'll put him in the backfield, they'll have him in the slot. So I won't think that you're going to get that matchup as much as people think, but I mean, I'm going to have to take Deebo in that matchup. He's, you know, you give him a little bit of a wiggle room, and he's going to take it. And he's a dangerous player. But like I said, I don't think you're going to get much of that matchup. But if you do, I like Deebo in that matchup.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Moving on. This was a team that was paying close attention to the Charger-Raider game on Sunday Night Football, but because, of course, if that game would have ended in a tie, and it was a late second field goal to put the Raiders victorious in that game, but the Pittsburgh Steelers, that game would have ended in a tie, the Pittsburgh Steelers would have been out. Visiting Kansas City, a team that's made the Super Bowl the last 2 years, won it 2 years ago. Who do you like in this matchup? Possibly Big Ben's last game.
Yeah, I mean, I like Kansas City. You know,
so it will be Big Ben's last game.
I think so. I think so. You know, and maybe his last game in Pittsburgh. You never know what the whole offseason. But
that's true.
I like Kansas City. You know, they're home. They got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. You know, they're coming back from injury. The defense is playing at a better level. So I mean, Pittsburgh, they kind of backdoored in. Credit to them, though. You know, they won the games that they had to win, but traveling to Kansas City against a high-powered offense, they really don't play well against the pass. They actually been exposed against guys that could air it out. So I like Kansas City at home to eliminate Pittsburgh here.
There you go. I mean, you know, Patrick Mahomes. And by the way, they were one of those teams that when the season began, people were like, oh, they're not as good as they were the last 2 years. Yeah. Boy, did they prove everybody wrong.
Yeah,
right or wrong,
absolutely.
Eric?
You know, and it's weird because, like, you know, they're such a down-the-field team, but they've been taking care of the short routes. They've been getting the ball intermediate. Patrick Mahomes taking the safe throws, and it's gotten their offense back in rhythm. So,
all right, the Monday Night Football game, first time ever that there is a playoff game on Monday night. ESPN sending the big bucks. ESPN up in Bristol, Connecticut. You want to send some over to the Pulse with Peter B and North Jersey Cable Access? We will take it. Eric will always look for a payday, and so will I. Anyway, Monday Night Football. Moving on, Monday Night Football. It is, I had to do the song. It is the Arizona Cardinals visiting the Los Angeles Rams, an NFC West matchup. Who do you like in that one?
Oh, man, this was like the hardest game for me to pick. They're just two even teams, both coming in struggling, you know, with two tough Week 18 losses from both sides. But, you know, in this game, I like the Rams. They're the healthier team. Their offense, to me, is a little bit more explosive. Arizona not going to have D-Hop in this game. And defensively, you know, it's weird because without J.J. Watt, the Cardinals were still able to get the pass rush going. But they struggled against the run. With the Rams, they've been finding that run game as of late. So I think they'll continue that. Cooper Kupp, the best receiver in the league right now. I can see him really taking control of this game. And let's see what Matthew Stafford has, man. Second playoff game. Everybody's been waiting for this moment. Right. They made the trade for him. It was a big deal, and we'll see what he can do. But I'm going to take the Rams at home.
All right. We have a few more seconds here, Eric. Going into the NFL playoffs, which of course starts this week and a week late. Who do you think is the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl?
To me right now, it's got to be Green Bay.
I'm going to interrupt you though on that one, Eric, because if you look at Green Bay's last 4 games, they lost to the Lions. Okay, they had their scrubs in, their backups in, and all that good stuff. The week before, they were playing Sean Mannion in sub-degree weather because Kirk Cousins wouldn't get vaccinated and he got COVID. The week before that was the missed holding call against Cleveland, and the week before that was when John Harbaugh went for the 2-point conversion down in Baltimore. So I think they had 3 out of 4 lucky wins in a row.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're right. But at the same time, this is the NFL, right? And, you expect these guys to be professionals and go out there and perform.
All right. Fair enough.
But it's also fair enough to point that out because if I'm going to pick Green Bay, I don't want them struggling in their last 4 games and then going into the playoffs. I think the bye week is going to help them out big time. They're going to get healthy. And I just really like that combination of Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Their defense hasn't been playing, terrible. They've been actually pretty good this year. So I like them going forward. And to me, they're their favorites, but you never know.
We'll see. You're just going to have to tune in and see. Well, they'll be in next week, obviously, because they have the bye. But in subsequent weeks after that. Eric Cruz, I don't know why I'm banging the table, because we're at a very special place that you're going to want to tune in for in 2 weeks. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week, my man.
Thanks, Pete. No
Have
problem.
fun watching football.
Yes, you too, and everybody else. Enjoy the games.
Absolutely. All right, folks, join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancavano, and as mentioned, in 2 weeks, you're going to figure out what we're doing in this restaurant. Have a great week, everybody.